Welcome to The Best Show. I'm your host, Alex King. Sitting beside me is...
Chase Tucker, and do not debate the best show, it is the best.
Yeah, we did run tests before we started. We threw some sample footage out there to test audiences, and they came back and confirmed it is indeed the best show.
On all 7 continents.
Yeah, all of them. We went to the corners of the world. There was an Antarctic research base. We tracked them down. We sat them in front. We Clockwork Oranged them with the show, and they said, you know what, guys? Our hands are tied here.
Can't be beat.
Our hands are tied.
Can't be beat.
Anyway, welcome to The Best Show. We're just going to be talking about cameras, talking about film, talking about pictures, talking about good times, talking about friends, family, loved ones, all sorts of good things. We're going to start off today's episode by introducing ourselves. Let's crack into this. So, Chase, you take photos.
I do take photos.
All right, cool. Next segment. Chase, we went to film school together.
Did.
No, that's like in the same classes.
So we did go to film school together, but we never met each other.
Exactly. We met when you were graduating.
Correct.
And I still had a semester left.
Yes.
So I was like on my way out.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to film school together.
Yep.
And then from there, we've worked on film projects together and then kind of have developed a mutual interest in film photography.
Correct.
So where did your interest in filmmaking start?
Like I said, 2 distinct memories I have where it all stems from. And like probably the bigger one of the 2 was watching the behind the scenes of Jurassic Park 3 and seeing that, holy shit, these aren't actual dinosaurs in front of the camera. They're like people making these dinosaurs move. And that blew my... How old would I would have been? What was Jurassic Park 3? 2005-ish?
I think 2003.
2000, yes, it was. You're right. So little 7-year-old Chase, 6-year-old Chase is like, holy shit, this is incredible. Like, people do that. And then it like kind of got like stored away in my mind until I was in middle school and I was hanging out with Daniel at our buddy Aaron's house. There was like this epiphany that we had sitting there. Like, Aaron and I were huge horror buffs and we like loved horror movies, and we were getting into shit like Alien and like The Shining and like all these, horror movies that like our parents had shown us and stuff like that. And it kind of had this epiphany sitting in the trailer that we're like, people have to make these movies. People have to get paid to make these movies. And so like we kind of said, we're like, we could do this. Like that's a thing that we could that could be us.
We could be getting paid.
And so we outlined this movie that we wanted to make called Cabin in the Woods. And this was years before the Joss Whedon Cabin in the Woods came.
It's kind of a continuation of those events that kind of led you into...
Yeah, it was kind of like a domino effect, I would say.
Yeah. Just like, how can I spend more money?
Yes,
I'll
exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, well, so that... Pardon me, I forgot about that part of the question.
Yeah. No, you're all good. You're all good.
I had a Nikon D3300, which I kind of stole from my mom. She bought it for her.
Yeah.
And then I was like super stoked that she bought it to replace hers because it had a audio input in it. And I was like, oh my God, I can filmmake with this. And so like she bought it, and I'm like almost positive like the day it came home from Costco, like I like took it. I don't know if she ever used it, dude. I think I like straight out stole that camera from my mom. But I mean, she probably used it at like swim meets or whatever she intended to plan it for. But like I like took it and I filmed like everything on it. Yeah. And I ended up taking that camera to college. I did a little research and I discovered the magic of the Nikon F, where like I could use literally any lens from like their history, except for that one stupid 50, dude.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Which doesn't fit on the FM, but it fit on my Nikkor mat.
Yeah.
And it fits on this Metabones.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know what is up with it, but a little goofy. Yeah. Anyways, I was looking for more lenses for that because I just had the kit lenses and I wanted to like start getting into better lenses as I was like learning more and more about this kind of stuff. And I found a Craigslist ad for a guy that had that Nikkor Mat EL and like 4 or 5 lenses to go with it, and I was like, cool. And so I rolled up and like checked it all out. So like I got the film camera as like I wasn't even like looking at it for the film camera.
Just happened
but then I had one and I was like, well, this is cool. Like film is cool. Like that's also something that like interests me. So like I started shooting with that like just like around the desert and like up on like drives and stuff like that.
And then final question. Best case scenario.
Okay.
Where would you like to see your work going? Like, what would the direction you want it to take?
Oh, jeez. That's another tough question, because I know we've talked about this before. Like, I just, like, it's more of like a for me thing. Like, I don't foresee it going anywhere. I just like having cool pictures that I shot, and like showing friends stuff that I enjoy. So like, I mean, other than that, like, I don't really see it going anywhere. But fair. Like, if it had to go somewhere, I don't know, gallery would be cool. It doesn't have to be big. Yeah. Even if it was just like a local thing, I'd be what? Hang a picture up at the local coffee shop. Yeah. Take an absurd price tag on it, and if someone's dumb enough to pay it, then like, okay, it's fine. Say less.
Yeah. I do want to start off this little series by talking about a plan that we have in the works. Towards the end of the series, we're going to be taking a lot of photos. We've taken a lot of photos in the past couple months. So, a lot of photos. So there's going to be a few different things we're going to do. We'll be reviewing some of the photos from the photo walks at the end of the episode. We'll talk more about each specific photo and why we think they came out the way that they did. And then we're also going to be doing an after episode kind of write-up report that will be on the website. This video is sponsored by Romping Bronco Repairs. You can visit the website, www.rompingbroncorepairs.com, for more info on your film camera repair needs and or for the episode write-up will be posted there. So you'll see more of the photos there, a little bit more in-depth analysis as to how our minds hardly function. Yeah. Because it's not well, but...
No. But let me tell you.
Some synapses are connected.
Sometimes there's a little bit of an arc between the ones, because they don't touch.
No. It's a bit of a leap. It's a leap of faith. Okay, absolutely. A leap of faith. So we'll be talking about that, breaking down the photos, but then also, at the end of this series, at the end of each series, what we're going to do is compile some of the best photos that we've taken into a little book. Some people call them photo books. Mm-hmm. I think
little book. It's going to be about that big.
Just very tiny.
You'll have to pull out your comically large magnifying glass, and flip it with tweezers.
Easy to travel with. I think that's where it's
a pocket book.
Yeah, it's a pocket.
A true pocket book. None of that pocket book that's big size bullshit.
Actually, do you remember like the old calculators, like the TI-80 in high school? It was like, a pocket calculator. I'm like, how big are your pockets? Your jeans? Yeah, like, they're big and tall. And then I'm also thinking, like, it was called that because at some point it was larger. Like, there was a calculator that was larger. Yes. And someone was like, don't worry, I'll make one that can fit in the pocket. And then they made just
completely analog.
The whole room is the calculator. Yep. And it can just like do addition or something. Yeah. Awesome.
That's better than I can do.
We're art students.
Arts degree.
Yeah, arts degree.
That tells you anything.
Yeah. When was the last time you had a math class? Yeah.
8? 10 years? Probably.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. When did we?
I'm trying to think what minus 8 or 10 years is from now. Anyway, allegedly. So moving on. This is going to be the very first photo walk that we went on. Not the very first one we went on together, but the first one that we recorded for the sake of these videos. To start off, we have this little intro segment that we cut already, so enjoy that. Hello. For today's episode, Chase and I were inspired by a little book, How to Take Good Pictures. It's a photo guide printed by Kodak to help you learn how to take good pictures. This is something that we both need help with, me especially. But to do that, to start off with taking a good picture, you need to have a good camera. So what we're going to do is kick it over to Chase. He'll talk about his camera that he chose for this exercise. I'll talk about the camera I chose. And then we'll go over the footage, see how it turns out. So Chase, over to you, good sir.
So for this first challenge, I am going to use my old trusty Nikon FM. And I chose to use this camera specifically because it's my only one.
For this exercise, I decided to take out my Pentax MX, which is this camera right here, as you can tell.
But yeah. rips. That means you're legal to drive.
That's awesome.
Let him eat.
Wait a second. What do I gotta be at if I'm shooting 1,000?
Oh.
Probably high.
Yeah.
No, I'm an idiot. I can do math. I can't do that. Run through. Right in the middle of the path. Do it fast.
I'm trying.
Oh, we got hella zoom in there too. Money, dude. The money shot. That's my close focus. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Get those little dewdrops. Now I can feel it. Oh, it's wet.
Yeah, it's gross. Gonna walk there? To me? Like, well, because last time you're like, no, I don't want to.
It's probably because I was being
So, this past weekend, interestingly enough, I ended up at a photo swap meet. Now, somebody wanted to spend time with family and couldn't go, so I went by myself. I went to this photo swap meet thing just to kind of poke around. I have some footage of it here that I will put over top, and it was very interesting, I'll say. As somebody that really enjoys cameras, really enjoys talking about cameras, really enjoys buying cameras, spending arguably way too much money on them, it still kind of was shocking to me how expensive some things were.
Yeah.
Things that should not be expensive. It's also very shocking to me what people are willing to sell. Kodachrome, which cannot be used. Kodachrome cannot be used. I mean, you can shoot on it all you want, but there's like no reliable way to develop it. I've heard of people cross-processing it and being able to get some images, but only black and white images. There's no way to retrieve the full color image. There was a blog post on it that somebody was able to get some kind of distorted color images. But also, Kodachrome has not been produced since like the early 2000s, I think. So it's also all really old. So when people are selling it, it's like, why?
What you doing, bud?
What are you doing?
You in particular. You know where you were, place and time.
Yeah. I saw you, dude. I was there. What are you doing?
Get out of here.
Get out. But other than those like minor inconveniences, it was a pretty decent show. There was a good showing of people. There was some interesting cameras that were presented. Most notably, I saw this ME Super here. I got this for $25. It comes with a auto Sears lens.
Ooh.
It's a 50 f2, pretty standard kit lens. The interesting thing about this is it only goes up to f16, whereas all the other K mounts, like the Pentax K mount 50 f2, goes up to 22. Not a huge thing, but just something worth pointing out. But $25 for a working ME Super, not too bad, not too shabby.
Let's go.
And I just want to go back to a point that I made in a previous video. Buy third-party lenses. Just buy.
Yeah.
They're pretty cheap.
My 28 is third party, and it is sharper than the Nikon 28 I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Depending on, like, I mean, like, obvious visual qualities there.
Uh-huh.
But, like, for the most part, if you can find, like, especially if you're exploring new focal lengths. Like, for instance, if you only shot 50s and you want to try a 28, pick up a 28. Pick up an off-brand 28. Give it a rip. See if you like it. And if you do, then go buy the name brand one if you really want to. But, like, there's no need to just dump a bunch of money on the name brand if you don't know if you're going to like the focal length. One of the other things I bought was this. This is a Petri. Yeah, it is a goofy one for sure. I spent a total of $5 on this. It is very broken though. It's bad. I've spent a bit of time working on it. I've gotten things to kind of look as they should on a camera. However, there's still a few issues, like the shutter doesn't really work. The focus doesn't really move. It doesn't really work as a camera yet. But it was $5, and I really like the design of it. I think it looks cool, looks interesting. And just in terms of having a camera I can just kind of throw in a bag, not think too much about. Has a little rattle to it, which is good character.
But you were out of paperweights, right?
Exactly. I need more. I need more.
Boom.
And
two birds, baby.
Exactly. For $5, go find a paperweight for $5. Go find one. You can't. They don't exist. I got a nice photo book as well.
Okay, but I have not seen this yet.
I didn't bring it.
God
I forgot.
damn.
I forgot. It was the it's how to buy a Pentax camera, so I didn't really think it was too important for you.
No.
And I also bought it after I already bought that camera too, after I bought the MX Super, so I feel like it's kind of putting the cart before the horse there. But
yeah.
Anyway, other than that, really good time. Yeah.
Look how that now just hits my brain.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
The cart before, okay, yeah. As with anything, photo swap meets, thrift stores, Goodwill, any place where you can go physically buy a camera, even camera stores. Just always, you know, do a little bit of due diligence.
Absolutely.
Go in kind of knowing what you are looking for. Don't be spending a bunch of money you don't have. That's pretty much it. And don't be buying garbage that is just garbage. If you buy garbage, at least make sure it looks good. All right, so I think that about wraps up what we have for this chatting segment.
Sweet.
Do you have any thoughts that you wanted to add before I move on?
I don't really have those, believe it or not.
No thoughts from this guy over here? And with that out of the way, we are going to now go finish up our walk.
Which way's the wind blowing? Yep, it's over here.
Your battle cry.
That little thing?
Yeah.
That's wild.
How many boogers I got?
Millions.
Yeah, just too many to count.
They're hanging out your nose.
Zoom in on that.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question.
I think it's something.
Come by your brand new Pentax.
I'll leave it right here for you.
Condition.
You're welcome. I saw the moment happen. I wanted to save you the trouble. Oh.
It's broken.
What a cutie.
I'm thankful that there's like no kids in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's like a 2-year-old, but that's
All right. That was a good walk.
That was a good walk, yeah.
Very good walk. Let's review some of the photos that we have.
All right.
So you'll notice here that we have advertising opportunities available.
Absolutely.
If anyone out there is watching this and thinking, you know what, dagnabbit,
My face
this is the best show.
should be right there.
Your face could be here. Just go over some of the photos.
Ooh.
It's a nice close-up of a rose that Chase got.
Right on.
Really enjoyed this. I enjoyed like the little dew droplets over
Yes,
here.
me too.
And there's something to be said about red and green being complementary colors. It really adds that nice punchiness to it.
Yes.
I included both of these because I wasn't sure which one was the best one. I didn't bother to like look them up, but I personally like this one.
You like the darker one?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like a little bit darker vignetting. I think it adds better contrast overall. And I just think the movement of it looks a little bit.
It does look a little. Oh yeah, right through
yeah.
there, sweet.
Right in there.
I wish I would have
nice.
pulled it a little
know,
closer to the front, but.
And this one's good. I think it's the angle of this one I like too.
Yes.
I think you got a different angle.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's also pretty centered too. Good job on that. That was kind of a tricky shot to get, as I'm sure you saw in the video, but I think it was well worth it in the end. I really like this one too, just the pairing of the flowers and just really beautiful flowers. I also really enjoyed this one a lot.
That one was fun.
Yeah.
I like the. I mean, again, it's that red and green.
Exactly.
Like, just super punchy.
And just the little pops of pink.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
And this like little whatever the blue is here.
What the heck are those? This family-friendly show.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just like little crocheted bits.
Oh, that's cool.
But I also really like that little.
The cat.
Yeah.
Yep.
I dig that. That's just really cool outline. And then that was good pizza.
That was good pizza.
Yeah. That was really good pizza. And I really like this one too.
Yes.
This looks like one of the photos in like a textbook, like a science textbook, where it's like this is the thing that we're working on, and
the
then
scientific name of whatever this flower is.
the backdrop falls off completely because it's not about anything but this flower. And I just really enjoy the painted petals like that.
Yes, I know. I don't know what kind of rose that is, but it is.
I don't know either. Do you remember what film you were shooting on this? Because I think it was portrait.
I believe it. 400 probably.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think that was a
probably.
roll I tossed you.
Yes, it absolutely was.
Okay, so now we'll go into my photos, which are significantly worse. You're welcome.
I like it.
Yeah, no, so the issue with this, and I shoot a lot of expired film, that's kind of my cup of tea. So I won't always be shooting expired film for the show, obviously, but for this instance, I happen to be shooting, I believe it was expired Portra 800 and or expired Portra 400 VC, which stands for vivid color. You'll see that it's very vivid. So there's still really sharp detail though, which is interesting.
Absolutely, and I love how like grungy. Yeah, that's not a good word, but you know what I mean. It's like there's a lot of texture there.
Yeah, exactly, because like the sharpness of the silver halide crystals are still there. It's just their ability to process and render color at that exposure has been jilted by time. You'll see this one is kind of hard to see. And part of me thinks that if I were to rescan these, I could potentially pull a little bit more detail from them, but it just depends on a lot of things. And then this next shot, this was one of the rare ones that actually came out, which
is good.
Leads me to think that it wasn't so much of a camera issue itself, because again, we're looking at a few different things. There's a lot of variables to process. There is the film itself, there's the developing, there's the camera. Any one of those could malfunction. Obviously, also the lens could malfunction, or something could go wrong with the subject itself. But as you can tell, these should be fairly standard photos. So then it leads us down to those three items as previously discussed. And this photo leads me to believe that it was not indeed the camera that was malfunctioning. I've also shot multiple rolls through this camera. They all came out, so it was definitely the film. And as you can see here, pretty clear image, which means that I probably overexposed this and it probably came out just fine. And or it was just one of the shots on the roll that was fine. It was also exposure number 10, which is like right in the middle of the roll.
Got you.
Yeah.
Nice little safe zone.
Yeah.
That is beautiful though. I love that.
I'm a big fan of this
composition.
too. Yeah.
And just like little, it's like splotches of color and like this void of
the contrast over here from the
stupid contrasty.
Yeah. Anyway, so as you can see here, there's obviously a difference in film quality, and that's interesting. So that's why we made this video. Of course, that being said, you're probably not out there trying to shoot with 20-year-old film, so all of this is completely pointless, and you're welcome for wasting your time. Remember, sponsorships are available. So I think that about rounds out our episode for this week. Next week, be sure to tune back in. Because we were going to be going over
some of them half frame, cheapo
Plastic.
sacks of gold or garbage, you will find out.
This is actually, it'll be a very effective consumer test for you next week.
Yes.
Comparing 2 of the newest and only Kodak film cameras on the market. But yeah, I think that will do it for now. I have been your host, Alex.
And I have been here, Chase.
Alright, thank you again for watching. Appreciate it, as always. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
Check back in next week. At this time, we will have episode 2 of The Best Show.
That was 3 taps, but it was actually for episode 2.
I didn't pick up on that, actually. That was 3 taps. Awesome.
That's our cue.
Yep, that is our cue.
I should probably go fix whatever that is.
All right. Catch you on the next one.